Last weekend was the Blast Open Fall 2025 event, or as we say in England, Blast Open Autumn 2025 event. Hosted in the Wembley Arena, to the uninitiated you might be like, wait, wasn't Coldplay performing there at the same time? No, they were at the Wembley Stadium, though I wouldn't be surprised if a few people who attended the event would keep that ambiguous, since this thing looks a bit more impressive than this, which is where the Counter-Strike event was. But don't let looks deceive you, because inside is still a large and impressive arena, home to 2 inflatable terrorists with a bizarre preference for M4s. Now I think these should become standard in every Counter-Strike event moving forward, because they really are awesome and reflect the lighting in a cool way. The event was on for 3 days, and I was there for the weekend, lurking around the pot noodle booth, meeting lots of lovely people. There were a bunch of 1v1 booths around the arena, and in addition to that there was also a microphone minigame where if you do a good enough slurp sound, then you win stuff. Last year I gamed it by singing into the mic, but this year I did this instead.
Wow. That's a long slurp. Really good.
That was disgusting.
That was good. No, just the machine.
And failed. Well, I thought it was a good slurp. And I think everybody got through stuff anyway. There are a lot of bucket hats floating about. Turns out we might be famous. The one and only Ross Kemp was at the event. You know, that guy from EastEnders. And he was going about talking to Counter-Strike fans, apparently for a documentary on masculinity. Interesting choice. I'm sure he'll only have great things to say about this scene. As always, the event was beautifully done, with a high production value, though I feel a bit bad because in my recent Cologne advice video I said that if you had to attend just one day of an event, then make it the Saturday, because with 2 matches being played there's double the number of teams to watch and double the chance of a close match being played. But this year those were both 2-0 stomps, while the Sunday grand final went on to the 5th and final map, showing more Counter-Strike, and a closer game than the 2 games on Saturday combined, if that's how math works. As we say in England, maths. This event coincided with some underground train strikes, which made it difficult to get around, and combined with Coldplay selling out hotels everywhere and boosting taxi prices to ridiculous levels, it made it hard to go any sort of distance away from the event afterwards, though the buses were still running and were kind of popular. So my advice for people coming next year to England's biggest Counter-Strike event is, do, but book in advance, and try to find somewhere within walking distance of the arena. That's pretty much standard for any event. The great thing about Wembley is that it's built with the stadium in mind, so there are a lot of places to eat and drink nearby. I'm still very proud of the prices in England. The Tesco meal deal is still £4 for a sandwich, snack and drink, and even less if you use their club card thing. There's an automated Amazon shop about 3/10 of a click, Philip, from the event, and I love going there just to feel like I'm stealing when I pick up stuff and walk straight out. Though I'm not stealing. Again, £4 for a meal deal. I feel bad suggesting Wetherspoons when there's so much stuff closer to the event, but it's always a cheap breakfast with lots of unlimited hot drinks. You only have to pay for the cup once for about £1.70. And there's a Lidl not far away which works out pretty cheap even without meal deals. For £5.87 I scored myself a 6-pack of crisps, a large freshly squeezed smoothie and a family-sized quiche. And the nights out are par for the course for London. That is, expensive and shite, and most places close soon after midnight. The White Horse is directly opposite the arena, so is the go-to place for people after the event. You're almost guaranteed to find Counter-Strike fans there. We took the place over. But I went further afield in the search for a sub £5 pint. But even Wetherspoons betrayed me by discontinuing their cheap drinks, which is apparently standard procedure when stuff is on at the stadium. Thanks, Coldplay. I thought I found a loophole when I showed the bar staff I could still buy the cheap drinks using the app, but it turns out it wasn't that Wetherspoons, but was instead an identically named one about 2 miles away. So somebody there got a surprise £1.99 pint for free. But yeah, great to see the English Counter-Strike scene alive and well. It was a bit of a dilemma in the grand final, where, being English, I think we all wanted to cheer for Vitality, the team with England's only good player Messi on. But then it's a French team, so... No, it was a great final, and there's always something about an English crowd and an English event. Makes me proud. So until next year.